everybody, it's Tony George and Nick Menken right there from DocSports.com. This is Doc Sports NFL Prop Madness Show. And folks, Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. We dropped a game last night. We've been really hot in the NHL, but the Winnipeg Jets didn't get it done for us. And I know your San Jose Sharks last night didn't get it done, but looking for a bounce back weekend. We got a big weekend here on tap, Tony.
Yeah, I got a big weekend. Top plays in both college and the NFL. Matter of fact, my only 8-unit pick in college football all year goes this Saturday. I have a small conference. Looking forward to bouncing back there. My NFL props, to be totally honest, which I am, have been shitty this year. So I'm looking to turn that around, lowering down the volume a little bit and honing in on some here. The NBA props have been red hot. Baseball was good, but the NFL let me down so far. A lot of time to make up for that. Let's get to this weekend's free prop picks. But first, a comment that I read in the NFL this week. A.J. Brown is upset again. As a matter of fact, his comment was, and Nick, I'm going to pose this to you. If I'm on your fantasy team, get rid of me now. They got a big game against Detroit Sunday night. Now, I have a top pick in that game. He's trending to the under 4.5 receptions, minus 135. His receiving yards is sitting at 61.5. About minus 110 to minus 115, almost a pick 'em on the over-under, Nick. And, of course, the Lions, number 12 pass defense in the league, 199 yards per game allowed, which is very respectable in the NFL in terms of a pass defense. Your thoughts on A.J. Brown?
Yeah, that's one that we got to talk about. I mean, it almost reminds me of an Antonio Brown here when he was playing. The camaraderie in the locker room, it's definitely a problem. It's definitely an issue that they're trying to put a Band-Aid on in this Philadelphia locker room. Obviously, A.J. Brown is not happy with this offense, maybe not even happy with Jalen Hurts, but it goes back to the head coach and getting him the ball. I think this weekend he will be active and they will try to get him the ball here, especially against a Detroit team. But yeah, this locker room, there's something behind the scenes that's going on that we don't know here, but it's very, very contagious. I will say we've seen this in the past, like I said, with Antonio Brown, and usually and typically good things do not come out of this the way that A.J. Brown is speaking on.
Yeah, reading the book on the sideline and just all kinds of I would think maybe they give him the rock, give him more targets this week, that over 4.5. If they don't, it's liable to turn septic on him, for lack of a better term. But nonetheless, let's talk about some props this week, folks. Let's talk about, and I'll kick it off with a quarterback prop in the Chicago and Minnesota game, which is going to be near and dear to Nick's heart, as well as your buddy Griffin. Big Chicago Bears fans. Yes, I'll bring up this game in a minute. Another big game this week. But nonetheless, Chicago's quarterback, Caleb Williams, I like him over 21.5 yards rushing in this game. And that's sitting at minus 115. Now, he's eclipsed this number in his last 3 games with save 1, and he's played a lot better this year under Ben Johnson. He's got a coaching staff. He's got a few more weapons around him. The offensive line has played better this year for Chicago, which isn't saying much because they were dog crap last year. They damn near got that kid killed. The last 2 weeks, he ran for 53 and 63 yards respectively in the first meeting. Last time he faced Minnesota, he had 58 yards. I like him over this yardage here. I can clearly see him taking off more than 3 or 4 times in this game and getting some chunk yards for them. And he's definitely elusive once he gets out in the flat. He can take off running. He's not afraid to take a hit. He doesn't like to slide, but you better get him to slide. But nonetheless, I like Caleb Williams over 21.5 yards rushing at minus 115. That's a FanDuel line. I think DraftKings has bumped this up to 23.5 already. So there's been some steam coming in on him. That might be a little bit of a weak line. I have it pegged at 25.5 for a power number. So nonetheless, on my algorithm. What do you got, Nick?
Can't disagree with you on that one, Tony. Absolutely love it. But let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here and the Buffalo Bills. Both teams coming off losses last week, and boy, did the Buffalo Bills look awful. 13 points last week against the Miami Dolphins. That is right, the Miami Dolphins. The Bills defense, though, allowed 370 total yards there to Tua and that Dolphins offense. But Baker Mayfield last week came out a little sluggish, I will say, against the Patriots. But the Patriots, they've been playing great football here. And he still had 273 passing yards here. I'm looking at his over again this week. It's sitting at 214.5. And there's a reason behind this as well. It is in Buffalo. I would assume it's going to be a little colder. But hey, Baker Mayfield is going to be ready to play here, and I would assume so is Josh Allen. I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored in this one. I think it's going to be a shootout game here, and I'm getting Baker Mayfield over 214.5 total passing yards. Absolutely. I love this bet here on Sunday against the Bills. You know the Bills offense is going to score more than 13 points, letting the Bucs come back in the offense to spread it out, and Baker Mayfield hit the over 214.5 passing yards here for Baker. I love it.
Yeah, that's a cheap number on him.
Very.
And what does he do in big games? Makes big plays, big deep passes. He's been doing it all year long. You know, that's going to be a hell of a game. Be honest with you. I agree with you. I think both quarterbacks will be on display. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Josh Allen. I never looked at his number in that game, but it's got to be up there. But I'll tell you, he's not gonna have back-to-back crappy days. Nope. He doesn't have them, and that's going to be a tough one in my book. And I know they beat my Chiefs, but in my book, Buffalo's overrated this year. They have been all year long. They've struggled. Even in games they've had a couple blowouts, no doubt, but they've struggled in games. Both those, even when they beat Miami, they struggled against them the first time around there in Buffalo. It was a 10-point win, but I mean, Miami was in that game until mid fourth quarter. Speaking of my boys, we're on the road at Denver this upcoming Sunday. Big game for Kansas City. We got Andy Reid off a bye, which is always, worth a sniff. We'll see if Kansas City is ready to relinquish the AFC West crown this year in this game, because this is a must-win if they want to try and retain that be the 10th year in a row for the AFC West crown. And, of course, Denver, interesting game. Kareem Hunt for Kansas City. Now, Pacheco's a little banged up still. I've been practicing, but Kareem Hunt is their goal line back for Kansas City. He's had 3 touchdown runs in the last 2 games. For him to score a TD plus 115, yes. They get inside the 3-yard line, on the 3-yard line. He also can catch the ball out of the backfield, which he's done this year for a touchdown as well. Give me Kareem Hunt at plus 115 to score a touchdown in that game. The red zone, inside the 5-yard line, you can expect Hunt is in there for every down, not Pacheco. So if they put Pacheco in there, they're probably going to want to pass it. So that's kind of how you read them. But nonetheless, I think he'll get it done, even though Denver's front's pretty tough. Hunt is a great north and south runner. Always has been. Kansas City, Cleveland, back to Kansas City. He's a good north and south runner. So give me Kareem Hunt to score a TD in that one. Hope he scores a bunch, actually, because I'm a Chiefs fan.
There we go. I'm with you this weekend, Tony. I like the Chiefs. So let's head into the second one here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And I'm eyeing on DK Metcalf here over 53.5 yards. Now, he's only went over this line 4 out of his 9 games. Last week against the Chargers, it was a bad game by the Pittsburgh on the road. He only had 35 yards in that one here, but he's back at home against the worst defense here in the league, allowing 434 yards per game. That is brutal. The passing yards allowed for the Cincinnati Bengals team through the air on average 260 yards here per game.
Wow.
That is atrocious. I like Aaron Rodgers here, and he's in a matchup with DK Metcalf. You know the Cincinnati Bengals offense is going to score points. Joe Flacco and obviously his receivers there, T. Higgins and Chase. No question about it. Aaron Rodgers is going to air it out this weekend. I love DK Metcalf to be a high player in the scheme this weekend against the Bengals. Give me DK Metcalf here over 53.5 receiving yards. I love this one. Aaron Rodgers back at home against the Bengals.
I already bet that. Yeah.
Good minds think alike, Tony. I love it.
It's going to be a high-scoring game too, folks. I've checked the weather, obviously, but this time of year, any time this time of year, you need to check the weather if you're north of Mason-Dixon line, so to speak. So be sure and check that out. Let's go over to Spain. That's right, Spain. We've tried Germany last week. We've done the Ireland, London. We've done it all. Now we're in Spain, believe it or not. And the Washington Commanders taking on the Miami Dolphins, who just pulled off the upset. Watch them lose straight up this week, by the way. That's how they roll. But let's look at the tight end position for Washington, specifically Zach Ertz. Miami is one of the worst teams in the league at giving up targets and receptions to tight ends. Matter of fact, they've given up 36 catches in their last 5 games. They just attack Miami with tight ends. Every team does. It's well known, well documented. You also got Burke and McLaren out, which also adds to, Mariota going to him as relief as well. Over 4.5 receptions. It's plus 125. You can still find 3.5 receptions, but you're going to lay about $160. And this will be up by the weekend at 4.5 across the board. But I like Zach Ertz over 4.5 receptions. I think if Washington's got a chance to win it, he's going to need to have a big day, big time, at the tight end position. And Mariota likes throwing to the tight end as well. So let's go ahead and go with Zach Ertz on the plus number, plus $125. I say he gets 9 targets and 6 receptions this week. So go ahead and play him on the over on receptions at that plus number. Nick, final pick is yours.
I like it. Let's stay in that tight end position here, Tony. We got Carolina Panthers headed to Atlanta to face the Falcons here. I'm looking at Kyle Pitts over 47.5 receiving yards here.
Yeah.
The Falcons looked great last week against the Colts. The one thing they couldn't do, finish that game as the Colts won that one in overtime. Now, Carolina looked awful. They looked awful last week against the Saints team at home, where Carolina is supposed to be better at home than they are on the road here. Now they're back on the road. They only scored 7 points in that one. I think this defense is lacking here. And you gave up 17 points to a backup quarterback there for the Saints. I like this Atlanta Falcons team to get right in this spot back at home. I think Michael Penix has a big game on the offensive side, and he connects with Pitts here. I don't know if London necessarily is going to be in this one. I know he was questionable during the week. So just look for this tight end. He loves to go to his tight end Pitts here. So I love his over 47.5 receiving yards in this one over the Panthers.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Panthers beat them 31-0 earlier this year in Carolina. You think Atlanta's got a little payback in mind?
Oh,
you think if they could drop the hammer on them and embarrass them, they would? You think?
100%.
Yeah, and I agree with that one. Folks, Doc Sports, that's the place you be. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a free $60 for anybody who wants to get on board with DocSports.com. It comes with 0 obligation, 0 hassles, and on top of that, the icing on the cake is it comes with a profit guarantee. All you got to do is go over, punch in your email, your name, your member number. We'll park $60 in any new account. Comes with that guarantee. That means prop cards are $25. I'm going to have probably 3 or 4 of them on Sunday. I know Nick will have at least 2, if not 3. You can get both those cards and still have money left over, and they come with a profit guarantee. That's the sales pitch. Doc Sports is where you need to be. Be sure and check out those props daily for the NBA as well. And I don't know if you're doing hockey props or not, Nick.
No, I'm hot right now on NFL. I stick with NFL right now.
Yeah, I'm doing daily NBA picks over there, and they've been doing well. Got a doubleheader here on Friday. Just a 3. I rarely go over 4 units. If I have a doubleheader, I have a 3 and a 2 unit card. There's not a lot of risk out there. I don't play anything over minus 135 ever. You know, I keep the money line very low, trying to look for those little sweet spots. So be sure and check those out daily over at DocSports.com. Have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy your Sunday NFL. Come over and get some winners from Nick and I.